Hey, it's me, Dave. I'm using my camera phone, my cell phone, to shoot this video. Um, I want to do this video introduction of a video that I shot way back a long, long time ago, um, in the late 1980s on Marco Island. Back then, when my dad was still alive and my stepmother Sherry was still alive, uh, we had Christmas on Marco Island at Dad's house. His address was 1170 Martinique Court. This is in the northeastern part of Marco. Uh, he had a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 1-car garage house on a canal. The canal was considered an indirect access canal, meaning you had to go underneath in your boat, go underneath one bridge to get out to the Marco Island River, which then took you to, the ocean, Gulf of Mexico. So, um, Dad decided to buy me a video camera. It was a Panasonic AG-170 VHS. It recorded on VHS tape, and it was a standard definition video camera. And Dad got me this camera for Christmas, and I decided to shoot whatever I could shoot with this camera. And then Dad took me on a tour of Marco Island, and this video is somewhat famous, somewhat historical, because it shows Marco Island in the late 1980s. I forget what year it was. It was 88, 89, somewhere around there. I know it was before Hurricane Andrew, because Hurricane Andrew was what happened in 1992. I remember that because 92 rhymes with Andrew. So, um, anyways, Dad took me on a tour of Marco Island, and it shows all of Marco Island from the late 1980s. I would also like to submit this video to the Historical Society of Marco Island, Marco Island Chamber of Commerce, and whoever else would deem this video to be historical concerning Marco Island. Um, so there is a bit of an infamy associated with Dad. He got cancer. He was diagnosed with cancer in 1997, and he passed away on March the 12th, 1998. He died in his front yard on Marco Island. And his wife, Sherry, not my mother, my stepmother, at the time, Dad had a gigantic 10-foot, 12-foot tall hibiscus hedge in his backyard, dividing his yard from the neighbor's yard. And at the time, all the hibiscus flowers bloomed. So when Sherry had Dad cremated with all of the hibiscus flowers, and then we sprinkled some of his ashes in the backyard, and the remainder of his ashes, we asked his best friend, Hap Hapney, to bury his ashes on Coconut Island. Yeah. And some years later, this guy came down from the north. We call him a carpetbagger. Came down from the north and became the director of I think he was the director of the Wild Bird Sanctuary. I could be wrong about that. But he went to court and he argued in court that the Australian pine tree was a non-native species of tree in Florida and should be chopped down and eradicated. This lunatic idea he got, I don't know where that came from, but he argued in court and he asked the court permission to cut down Australian pine trees in a controlled area so that he could then study the flora and fauna, the effects of the flora and fauna of the area from the removal of the trees. And where did he go to do this? Coconut Island. Okay? This guy chopped down the pine trees on Coconut Island. Why Coconut Island? I don't know. But when they cut down the pine trees, they also desecrated my father's gravesite. And I don't know who to see about this. I don't know who to talk to about this. I don't even know if the statute of limitations plays in this. Because, this happened a long time ago. This happened over 20 years ago. I don't know who to talk to, honestly. But those pine trees on Coconut Island, they did two things. They shielded the island from winds, to keep winds from blowing the island away. And the root system gave the island structural integrity. Well, when they cut down those pine trees, A, they took away the windshield. B, they took away the structural integrity of the island. C, they took away the natural habitat of the American bald eagle. Yeah. And D, they desecrated my father's gravesite. Those sons of bitches. So when a hurricane came through a few years later, it sunk the island. And all of the sand from the island and my father's remains were washed down Marco Island Beach. So, what do I do? All I have, all my family has, is this video that I'm about to show you. Shot with a standard definition VHS video camera in the late 1980s, and the video is called A Marco Island Christmas.
This is the roast beast. It's captured alive in Tanganyika. by Tanganyikans. We're going to eat him here on Marco because we are hungry. So my catfish will enjoy this tremendously. They love roast beast.
This here is Bill's boat. And those are his davits. And now we're going to walk out to the dock. See, this here's the dock. Live action video here. News Channel 3. And this here's Bill. Oh, there he goes. What's he doing down here? Looks like he's charging his, he's using his electrical box there. Plug it in. Yeah, he's gonna charge his battery. Yeah, that's what he's doing. This here's his dock. Isn't it nice? And that's his cleaning table there. And his water hose and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And that's a cleat, and there, that thing right there, that thing right there, right there. Okay, that there is the light switch, and it's hooked up to the snook light. See that? That's a snook light. He's got pet catfish. We're gonna try to shoot them later on tonight. Yeah, see? Yeah, it works. And this here is the canal that Bill lives on here. That's the neighbor's dog. And isn't this pretty? And it's very, very, very picturesque. We like it. What? This here's the end of the canal, and that there's Barfield, the street that car's driving down on. That's Barfield. And there's the other davit, and there was Bill's boat.
Boy, you can't do this after about 3 beers. The hard part.
Getting out. That's the hard part. Now he's going to do something here with the engine. He's going to flush it. That special adapter right there. So working?
The hard part.
Wait, getting back in again. here's the back of the house. That's the trees right by Bill and Sherry's bedroom. Big old palm tree. It's way up there. You got the lime trees, lemon trees. Back door. There was Bill's skiff. He's got a skiff. He's got a bunch of trailers behind the skiff. See that? He's got the trailers back there. He hides them underneath this big giant pine tree. This here's a funny looking pine tree because it starts out as one trunk and then it splits off into two trunks. It's two pine trees. And then, near the top, they both split off into two more. And there's next to neighbors over there. There's a bar field right there, and the street right there that car just turned into. This is Martinique Court. And then we're gonna zoom out a little bit. And then we're gonna pan left. Here goes the neighbor's yard. That's Sherry's car right there. The neighbor ain't home, and Sherry just parked the car in her driveway. And we're gonna go over this way, and there's the yard. And there's the garage door and that I painted. There goes Ivan and Susan's car. There's my Volkswagen right there. And there goes some palm trees. There's Bill's van. A box.
Okay, this is a terrible idea. I'm using an analog microphone on a headset to record this audio. YouTube has decided to hide or block the video because it shows my dad singing chestnuts roasting on an open fire, the Christmas song by Barbara Streisand. So I've had to replace that with a still image of Dad and this this audio. It's ridiculous that I have to go through this over YouTube.
And here we are going north on, or actually south on Barfield.
Bimini Avenue.
This fine house in the corner is for sale.
There goes Mr. Hapney and Ken and Mickey Jones. You know where a guy can get a cold beer?
Oh, is this your Christmas present?
Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. What the hell you got in your hand?
I own 2 boats and they're both broke down.
You had 2 cars in the garage yesterday.
Yeah. Maybe I'll start playing 2s.
I had one 3-bagger out of about 180 tickets last night.
I didn't have nothing, man. Are you kidding me?
You got anybody dead or alive in there?
We're gonna go run over and see if I can get a call from Larry Fisher.
Okay, we're gonna go visit your house for a while, whether you're here or not. God damn, there's a hole there.
God, I hope he doesn't have any screwdrivers or hammers. Mickey Jones has a way of fixing cars with screwdrivers and hammers. If it doesn't work, bust it. I see he tried to install his own.
Damn me, dog. Damn it.
This is another house tonight when you're doing pictures of lights and everything. You have to come to this house and see this one lit up.
Is there anyone left alive? Left alive on Christmas Day?
Hi. Just hope you're dressed.
Oh my God! No fair filming. Yeah. Thank you. It's too much. Here I am paying 2 months rent for him on an apartment. Thinking about getting out of my house. I'm okay. Yeah, well, you're not people like it. You know what? They're always too kind. So there's always, this one bunch towards the end of the night. Yes. And it came around straight.
Look at this. Here is the cat litter box. That's Sherry sitting on the jug. That's a fish in my camera lamp. Yeah, I would have done that except for I know how much it cost. And therefore I would not have done it.
Yeah.
Have you been in your pool today?
I was in my pool today.
There's a lot of dead Santa Clauses in your pool today.
Yeah.
Has Sever been in your pool today?
My dogs don't come in the house.
Look how big this dog is. He must be drunk.
She's adorable. And you know, with the other children being around Santa Claus, I think that kind of encouraged her.
She's always been curious and liked him, but she didn't want to, she was afraid, she didn't want to go near him. And then she discovered, hey, this boy, that's where the candy comes from.
Yeah.
This here is Hap's boat. The big one. And this here is the direct access canal that he lives on. There goes a boat going out. Here is the Happney's new patio furniture that John, their son, got them. New patio furniture. And table. It's a real nice glass tabletop, but I don't know why they want to cover it. Of Hap's house at nighttime. Probably the only house in this part of the island lit up so much. Zoom out. I turn it off, Dad.
Oh.
Well, here we are on the dock. and we're gonna try to get a picture of some catfish and throw this stuff in the catfish. Let the catfish. They're gonna eat everything you can possibly imagine.
All day long we have been playing with Billy's camera. So tonight we're going to find out if they're really here. And I can see some moving down there on the very bottom. I don't know, can you see down there? Can you see them down there, son?
Not in the viewfinder, but I can see them.
Okay. Now, I found out it's very important that I give them the special signal that I've developed. And it's called Stomp 3 times if you're ready for the thing. That's it. Let's find out if they've heard that. And we'll take out the roast beast, which is one of the most important ingredients of this. Are they surfacing out there yet? No, they should be momentarily. Let's find out. Here's the roast beast.
But they're down there.
We'll see. If they're going to come up. Look, look, look. What's happening? Nope, they're getting excited. What's going on? Look. Can you see them in the viewfinder?
Yeah. Just barely when they come to the surface, though.
Oh, they will get much more rabid than that.
Oh, there they go.
Piranha catfish of Marco Island. Here they are, ladies and gentlemen. Anybody want to go swimming?
Not out here. Whoa, look at that one.
Oh, where have they gone?
They're right up underneath the dock.
We're gonna back out here again. the size of that one. Look at the size of that one right there.
Oh, right there? Yeah.
Yeah, right down there. Right there on top.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a spotted one.
Catfish anywhere? That last was a carrot, and they probably don't. Oh, he ate it. There's a vegetarian catfish down there, right down there.
Oh my goodness. Is that it?
That's all the bait.
And that's what you do with your garbage, huh?
That's it.
Throw it to the catfish. Yeah, who
Wash
needs
your hands thoroughly.
who needs garbage trucks? You got catfish out here. Well, they figure that feeding time is finished.
True.
Yeah. Turn off the light.
We'll have to go see that. Taking a little ride around Marco today. Here is a little bridge that I have to go under to get out to the open water. And there's a little bay over there that we have to go out to get out to the open water. We're on Barfield, heading actually westbound now because the road turned. And we'll be showing you some other sights around Marco.
Okay.
Heading north on Bald Eagle Drive, the restaurant over to your right is O'Shea's Restaurant, where the paddle wheeler Rosie O'Shea has normally berthed. This restaurant is in the top 100 restaurants in the United States. Has very good food, and they aren't too expensive. This is in Old Marco, and we're going to pass by a couple of the very old homes that were here. Off to our right here is Captain Bill Collier's historic home, and he is one of the founders of Marco Island. Next door is another older home that's privately owned right now. We're going by one of the big condos. There are a couple more up here that have been turned into t-shirt shops. Off here on your left, correction, on your right is the Marco wallpaper and paint, and then the mercantile and the t-shirt gallery. And that's what old Marco looks like. We'll show you one more very historic restaurant, Marco Island Inn, and it has been here for quite a long time, since 1883. It has been restored. It has been designated a historic site now, and it is quite elegant inside. This used to be a large beach out in front, and this is where the ferry came across and docked to let the people out that lived on Marco for the night, and this was before any of the bridges were over here. As you can see, it's typical Florida cracker construction with a lot of porches, a tin roof, and gingerbread around the edges. Very pretty old building. Marco Island Inn. Now also a pretty famous restaurant. Ahead of us is the Doxy Seafood Company. They have a little seafood retail business there now. It's a very historic name. They started the business of dredging up clams here on Marco way back in the early 1900s, and all of the canned clams that were sold virtually around the world by the Doxy Seafood people in those days came from Marco. Here I thought they came from Chesapeake Bay or something like that, and they were right out here. Most of the old people of those days are dead. I think one of the grandmothers is still around, but this little seafood place is run by some of the boys now. And if Billy will move a little bit to the left to the sign, you'll see it's Snook Inn right above the Doxy Seafood place, and that's where we're going in now. The Snook Inn has been around for a while also. It's one of the local hangouts. As a matter of fact, the owner of it lives right next door to us down on Martinique, and we'll just slide right in here and let you see what the Snook Inn looks like. It's very picturesque with an outside chickie bar, and an awful lot of people come by here. They have very good seafood, and they're right on the water. They have nightly entertainment. One of our friends, Kerry Lee Rush, plays the guitar here at nights. In fact, he's coming over tomorrow for dinner. And we'll take a very short walk through and out the other side and show you what it looks like from the dock area. So bear with us, we'll be right back with you.
Okay, rolling.
And we're standing on the dock here at the Snook Inn, just taking some pictures of some of the boats going by. Across from us is actually the mainland. It's called Isle of Capri, or Cheap Marco as we call it. This is a nice restaurant here also, and there's quite a few people inside today. They're right out here on the docks. Billy's going to take a little walk here for you and show you what it looks like up and down the Marco River. This runs on out to our left and goes on out into the Gulf. This is where we have to come whenever we're going to go out to the island or go out fishing. South of the Marco River down towards the bridge, which is right over near our house, so we aren't very far away from home. There's some people there just finished eating and are pulling out of this real nice Boston whaler right in front of us. It's nice to get up in the morning and go put your boat in the water and just drive right on down here and have breakfast at the Snook, or lunch or brunch or a cold brew or anything like that. It's quite busy out here though on weekends and holidays.
expensive?
Well, I was thinking
just
about
the drinks?
drinks.
Yeah.
I think she would enjoy that.
That's just a bar that it's right up by the pool, and there's
I want to tell you something, may I? It saved life, everything about this woman. I would have to worry. Because, thank God, a million times Sadie knows she knows what's what. She's completely, thank God. Every once in a while, there's something missing.
On to Collier right now, and we're going to turn into this shopping center right here on our right. It's a little mall that we have. It's got quite a few shops in it, called Marco Town Center Mall, and it's got 40 or so shops in it, and it's a nice little place to come shopping. There's a Winn-Dixie in here and one across the street, as a matter of fact. Strange story about the Winn-Dixie. They had this smaller store here and going to build a bigger one across the street, and Publix decided they were going to move in, so Winn-Dixie wouldn't give this one up, so Publix had to end up and go down and build a store on the south end of the island, which we'll see a little bit later. This is the town Christmas tree, and everyone has that contributed has an ornament on the tree, and I'll show you ours.
Yeah. That was the trolley.
Okay, we're on what we call South Barfield now, and we're entering what is called the estate area. There's some very large, very expensive homes in here. We're going to take you by a couple of them. One of the gentlemen that built down here built an enormous house on one side of the street, and he has his own swimming pool, tennis courts, maids' quarters. He's got a ballroom and everything else. And when he got through, he's got his own satellite dish, and of course, and when he got through, he discovered he wasn't on the water, and so he bought the place across the street.
It's for sale. The place is for sale.
Oh yeah, they want like $2 million for it. He bought the place across the street over here, and no telling what that cost him, but it's nothing more than a boathouse on the water. Here we go by his house right here on the right. This area down here is locally called the Hills. And you'll be surprised at how hilly this is. Some of it gets up fairly high. Some of it is Indian shell mounds, and some of it is just sand. But it was amazing to me that in Florida we had, particularly on this island, which is only 3 miles wide and 5 miles long. It's the largest of the 10,000 islands. Sits to the very north of them and just south of Naples. But here we go up this hill, and you see some of the homes built around, very fancy homes indeed.
Yes.
You even have brick driveways. There's one on the left coming up that looks like an Italian villa. Very, very nice.
It's always bumps too.
Here we go down another hill. There's one off over there on the left that looks like a Swiss chalet. And here we go up another hill. One on the right has a lot of rock work and wood with it. It's a very nice looking home. Sits up right up on the very top of this hill. We're on the back side of the island. That's all bay water out there behind this home, which is also very nice. Down this road just a little way, and we'll show you the highest point on the island. It sits on a large shell mound and is known as Indian Hill. And you'll notice how steep this is right here. Like I said, for Florida, this is almost unheard of.
This is no video effect, ladies and gentlemen. This is for real.
And that wasn't the high point. Here's the high point. Uh-oh, we have to stop behind some people here. This is Indian Hill, which is...
There's a property on the left that's for sale right on top of the hill. And there's a real nice house on the right side too. But this property right in here is for sale. This is the high point of the island.
Yeah. Swing down to the end of this road. This fellow on our right doesn't like lawnmowers, as you can tell, and apparently he doesn't like people parking in this swale area either right here. It's kind of full of rocks. We're going to turn around this way. Some very, very pretty homes in here.
Did I see a Miami Herald mailbox?
Oh yeah, we get to Herald here. I get to Herald.
Okay, wait. Turn left.
You can see this is a little small bay in here called Roberts Bay, with some little islets out in the middle with its own little beaches. In the background are all the hotels along the main beach on the right on the Gulf shore. This little bay also has outlets, so you can get out to the Gulf. Over on the left-hand corner is a very large home that we're going to take you by here shortly. Belonged to supposedly a baseball manager by the name of Turley. He just had this built recently at a cost of about $8 million. Imported the stone cutters in from Italy to do the stone work, and it's quite an impressive home. I thought it was a church for a while. It's so large. The guy next door has a very beautiful home also, but this one dwarfed it, and I guess upset him when that thing was built. We'll see in a few minutes when we go by there. On our right is a very modern home that Sherry hates because it does look kind of odd. But he does have a pond in the back of the house, And looks like there's a white heron or something down there on it, Belly. Can you see it?
A white what?
Heron, right down there.
Oh yeah.
You see him right down there?
Yeah. You can kind of get a glimpse of him there. Yeah.
There is some fresh water on the islands. On this island, there's a pond. Besides this one, I believe this one is fresh water too. It's a much larger pond with some alligators in it over by the golf course. And there are 2 golf courses on the island, and one immediately off of it over by the little airport. The airport is actually on the mainland side of the bridge, which we'll show you a little later. This home right ahead of us reminds me very much of some of the architecture that they had in Miami. Very understated but very elegant. And it sits right on this Roberts Bay that we talked about a little bit earlier. Going to turn to our right up here in just a moment. You'll notice the pineapples this person has here on their fence posts. And the man right behind them has a beautiful home with an enormous big oak out here in the front yard. And we're going to take a turn to our right here, and we'll see what Mr. Turley's mansion looks like.
Oh my God. Look at that.
I don't know how many garages that he has here. Looks like 3 big-car garages. And a grand entranceway. Several chimneys. Still looks like a church to me. But all this stonework was done by artisans imported from Italy. As a matter of fact, they were out here with hand saws, water wheels, and things of that nature, cutting this brick that makes up this mansion. The fellow right next door here, like I said, was probably pretty PO'd about that because he had an absolutely gorgeous home, and then they built this thing right next to him. I see his home's up for sale now. I can't understand why. And look at the beautiful home that he has. Across the street, looks like something out of Gone with the Wind. Tara's mansion. Just being built. And to our right on this side is another one.
Okay, lots of movement here, folks.
Awful lot of construction going on Marco. Marco has really been discovered here in the last couple of years, and people are buying up these waterfront places right and left. They're extremely expensive. The property itself goes for anywhere, direct access lot go for $150,000 and up just for the property. And then the home probably cost $150,000 to $200,000. So you're approaching $500,000 unless you build something like Mr. Turley did back there.
Which is kind of unmentionable. I mean, the price, you know.
Here's a beautiful home right here on our right that's for sale. Now that's the lot next to him, I guess.
Yeah. turn back around.
We're up on the hill behind the street we were just on, and you'll see some of these homes are absolutely fabulous also. Everybody seems to be building and remodeling. Whoops, gotta see this. Hold on, I'm gonna back up just a minute.
Oh yeah, there's a real special house.
Straight down the street there, ladies and gentlemen, you see is the Blue Twister, which we thought was probably a water slide down into their swimming pool, but it actually turned out to be an outside spiral, enclosed spiral staircase is what it was, but it's very impressive. Here we go. Gotta get a picture of this home right up here. I guess this fellow over here on our left got all excited. He had a little home and he got all excited about these great big homes being built all around him, so he looks like he's completely demolished his home and he's rebuilding the whole thing all over again. It's like quite an undertaking. This piece of property was owned by a man that I don't know why he did all this.
He was an Indian.
No,
he was one of the chief Indians in this part of Florida.
You'll see, and this thing is all made out of conch shells. You can see terraces back through the woods. It's fairly overgrown now, but there's hundreds of terraces all back in there, and all of them are faced with these conch shells. He did it sort of as a monument to the Tequesta Indians, which of course lived on this island thousands of years ago. It's for sale right now. It would be, I imagine, a very impressive piece of property when it's all cleaned up and just leave the terraces and...
Wait a minute. There's a warning right here.
There, we're gonna get shot if we go in there.
Yeah.
It's a very pretty home right here on this corner too. Some of this property is heavily wooded, as you can see.
And this home here is for sale too.
Yes, this one is for sale. I think it's about $1 million for this one too. But it's a very impressive little home. Very well done. This is again on the southern end of the island. And the Doxy people used to have a big clam factory down here on the end of the island back in the early 1900s.
They also had a railroad that came in here too.
Railroad came down to cart the clams off. All the people that worked in the clam factory were kind of the lower class, and they had a little town down here at the time. And when the Deltona people, not Deltona,
keep talking.
People that bought this island originally told all those people that they didn't want them to live down here because it was very expensive, and so they packed them up and moved them, their houses and everything, over to a little village which is off on one edge of the island by the other bridge, and it's called Goodland. And they have a lot of trailers, little shotgun shacks and things like that over there.
Yeah.
Billy said as he goes home today, he's going to stop on top of the Goodland Bridge and give you a shot of it. But that's redneck country over there. We go over on Sundays and listen to the country western band and have a good time. Out of the back of the Turley mansion. Kind of reminds you of Vizcaya from down in Miami ways, if you remember any of that, any of y'all that have been down that way. Of course, these homes that we're going by right now aren't too shabby either.
No, I can't get a shot. Okay, I can't get a shot.
Okay, we're riding south on Collier again towards the south end of the island. You'll see up ahead of us here is the Marco Island trolley. It goes all over the island. It's the bus of the island is what it is, and the driver narrates as he drives along all the buildings that they're passing and everything. That building ahead of us right there, the cream-colored one, is part of the old missile tracking station that was built here on the tip end of the island, and there's more of it over there to your right-hand side, built here on the south tip of the island back when they were shooting missiles off of Eglin down through the Gulf. It's abandoned now, and well, shortly this whole point out here is going to be turned into a very large residential community by the same company that Hap and Wendy worked for, the Marco Beach Realty. This is called Caxamas Pass down here on this end. It's very pretty. The only problem is there are no beaches down here as there is on the north and west sides. But if you had a boat, you can go out to one of those islands out there and find any beach that you want. So I guess you could call that your private beach. A lot of condos down in this area. Overlooking Caxamas Pass, which and on south, I imagine there's some outstanding views. We're going to go just around the corner here, and we'll show you the only boat launching facility on the island. It's way down there on the south end.
Well, of course, there's the marina. You can go to there.
Yeah, if you want to go to the marina and pay their prices. There is one just off the island across the bridge on the north side, which most people use. Ah, the trolley's going to turn in here too. How about that? Oh, Caxamas Park.
Let's find a parking spot. And we'll get out and show you a good view of the water.
Beautiful view of the water. Beautiful view of the back end of the Marco Island trolley. How's that? Okay, we're going to take a little short ride over the northern bridge to Marco. This is the one that's the closest to Naples. It's just not too far around the corner from our house. This is looking south of the Marco River. You can see some boats out there. Go all the way down to the little town of Finland down at the other end where the other bridge is. You can see it's still largely undeveloped out here. It's Everglades. because we're sitting off on the mainland down through some swamp right away. But very good fishing around here. You'll see all the people all along the side fishing and the like. We're going to go down here and swing around, and we'll come back over and show you what the north side looks like. Okay, here we go, back over the bridge, back onto the island again. Billy can give you a sweep back and forth here, and also to the north to see the sights that you'll enjoy as you come on the island. You can see the hotels in the background along the beach. See some boaters out here. That's down, pointing down towards the Snook Inn where we were at earlier. This area right down here in front of us, at the base of the bridge, is the Marco Island Yacht Club. Which it costs several $1,000s to join. So I don't think I'll do that. Here we are on the island. Again, here it says right here, welcome to Marco Island. And we're having Christmas island style. We aren't too far from home if Billy wants to just let the camera run a little bit. Come right on down here to the red light, the first red light on the island. We're going to make a right-hand turn onto Barfield. Thusly. And we're going to ride right down here 2 blocks. First one right there, and we're coming up on the second one down here where the red truck is. Orange, I guess it is, and we'll make a left-hand turn. And we will go right in here. The second house on the right. And we are back at the Jones's Hacienda on Marco.
And here we are, on top of the Goodland Bridge, looking toward the west, toward Marco Island. I'm going to pan left over here, see the hotels, and the beach back over there. And all of this is Marco Island. Marco Island happens to be one of the largest of what they call the 10,000 island chain here on the Gulf Coast and southern end of Florida. And of course, you're probably looking at some of the other islands over there too, but this is the biggest. And of course, there's another little place over here called Goodland. There's Goodland, right there. And Goodland this is Goodland. I'm going to zoom out a little bit more. And now we're we're looking southeast, and now we're looking east. And those pilings you see down there, that's the old bridge. That used to be the only bridge in Marco. Well, thank God it's torn down and fallen down, because this one here, it's very, very high. You could put a sailboat underneath it, and it's made to last. And it also gives you a bird's eye view. Now we're looking kind of northeast. Now we're looking east. I mean north, I mean. And there's the river. That's the Marco River right there. Of course, I'm standing right on top of this bridge, and there are all kinds of cars coming by. The focus is going haywire here. You go over this way a little bit. Now we're looking northwest. And of course you see some of the hotels over there and the condos over there on Isle of Capri. And there's Marco Island again. There's a car. Well, thank you for joining us here on Marco Island for Christmas, 1988. And as the sun sets, well, you can almost imagine what it's like.